Tell me when I see something there, we're live, are we? Here we go.
What we should see in just a second is you. Oh, there's me. There's you. There we go. Welcome back, Brian, to the Third Party Show, 2023.
Good to be back. Yeah.
Good to have you back.
Yeah. I was just saying before the last time I came here, I was promoting Liberty Beer or brewery. Not that I drunk it. I don't drink much of it these days.
Don't you?
No, it's too expensive.
Oh, is it craft beers? Craft beers are pricey.
Beer is expensive, but I kind of shop around and I see if I can get bang for buck.
Yeah.
Good quality beer for the littlest price, online and all that.
Got to look
but
for
I find that Liberty is just a little bit up there. But nice beer,
Yeah.
you can't deny it. But I got the other T-shirt which I got told. You see that? Yeah, I got told by my stepmother when I went to see my dad at Christmas. Oh, Brian, you're going to have to take that off. Then that's inappropriate. You can't wear that.
Oh, no.
And I said, yeah, I thought that was going to happen, so I had a spare T-shirt in the car.
Oh, yeah. Prepared for it.
Prepared for it, yeah.
Have you been through the range? Have you been down to the tap room and worked your way through the range of beers?
I have in the past.
Yeah.
I haven't been there for a while. But yeah, I've been there a few times and tried the. We'll see what's new because I pretty much have. And it's like, what have we got that's new? Oh, okay, that's that one. But generally speaking, it's just that the range is, I've tried them all,
They should have some sort of loyalty card there where because they've got so many beers to go through that it's a bit of an accomplishment if you've actually managed to sample or have a glass of all of them.
Well, I've bought a 6-pack of all of them, I think.
Have you?
Yeah.
Oh.
At some stage over the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I kind of think, well, they should have not a guest one. They should. Yeah, it's just Liberty's. I mean, Joe's just not really. I don't know. He doesn't even like he's experimenting one hell of a lot. Some breweries are just like banging out different beers all the time.
Yeah.
Trying different things. What I'm drinking at the moment is a brewery, a Beer Jerk, Small Gods. So the Beer Jerk is the name of the online facility, and they get beers from
everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
And I did subscribe to them for a while. And then the two guys, I can't think of their names, Luke and somebody, they've got a brewery. Well, they collaborate, with them, and they're called Small Gods. So I'm drinking one of those now. That's a Pilsner. So I got a sample pack of their stuff, and I've tried a few of theirs. So they're experimenting like that, which is kind of cool, Just like you're just trying something slightly different,
Is that the Beer Jerk guys? That's one of their beers that they make themselves.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
And their name is, they go under the name Small Gods.
Yeah.
Beer Jerk is the online facility that you can buy all sorts of beers from other people.
Yeah.
And then
they also produce some flavours of their own.
Yeah, where they collaborate with other breweries and things like that and bang out some different stuff.
And so that one there, that's collaboration with someone, or that's just them?
I'm not sure about this one actually. Well, I think they all just. No, I can't read that.
It's a cool looking can. What are the spots on it?
I'm not sure. What do you think? And then read what it says. What's the name of it?
Oh yeah, it's weird. It's almost like they're like spots of metal or something. Yeah. Welding marks.
I'm sure they can. There's an artist there, and so the artist gets a commission. So that goes into the price of the beer as well, eh? So none of these 440ml cans too. They make it. They're
a big can.
Yeah. When I look at the price, I do the price difference.
Yeah.
You get a 330ml 6-pack, and then you get a 440ml. I mean, the 440mls there's a lot more. It's a lot more expensive.
But are you making money on the extra volume? Do you take your calculator and work out,
Well, that's what I do.
How many mils am I getting for that?
Yeah, I do. But then, of course, the grey area is the fact that it's got artwork on it, so you can expect to pay a little bit of a percentage for that because it looks kind of cool. And also, it's a different beer. With the 6-packs, you get your standard range. They bang them out.
Yeah.
Whereas you buy a standalone 440ml can, and it's got the whole. Okay, this is different. What's this? It's a different hop. It's a different malt.
So that's a stuck-on label too.
They're all stuck on label. Yeah. It's just a tin. It's just an ordinary tin. They're all just stick-on label.
That's not too expensive to do it that way.
Oh, no, not the stick-on, but I mean just the. I do wonder, and I've read an article about it. It's an artist, I mean, they've got rights to that image.
Oh yeah, but
So-
they might have just paid for outright for that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm sure that becomes a percentage of how they price it.
Yeah, we find that it's more expensive if you're doing cans which are the printed cans.
Mm-hmm.
You can do a lot more. They look nice, all that sort of thing. But then you've got to get them printed and buy them in a range. Otherwise, you've actually got to get your cans and get someone to go and put these stickers on them as well. It costs.
Well, it's a machine, I guess, is doing it, isn't it?
Yeah, they put up by a machine.
I don't think I've ever had it. I mean, all these cans, these craft beer cans I get, they're all just stick-ons.
Are they? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen a.
Well, particularly if you're doing short runs, because it makes sense. If you only go and they might only do 5,000 or 10,000 of them. I don't know.
Yeah.
But if you want to go and actually buy cans printed, you're buying minimum runs of 30,000 cans. And
Yes.
that kind of thing. So if you're not going to sell that many, you just do them with these stick-on labels, pay a bit of an extra
but
price.
then you pay extra money for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I can sort of see why the price goes up in terms of retail. But yeah, I take a photo of all my thing. I've got like 500 bloody
Beers that you've tried.
550 beers, and that's when I started taking photos. I mean, I was obviously drinking a lot of different beers before then.
Shit, you could start that up as you start as an online sort of business. Get on Instagram and Twitter and just go through your back history and just Brian the Beer Man and start putting up a beer a day and a little blurb about what you thought of it. I reckon in no time you'd have beer guys coming to you going, here, dude, try some of this. Put this up on Brian the Beer Man.
Yeah,
You'll be getting free beer.
Could do that. You'll have to give me some tutoring on that one.
Yeah, man, we can sort that out easy.
Yeah,
Bit of social media.
But I got all the photos. Yes, I take the photos and.
That's because that's valuable, and particularly if you can actually sort of hand on heart say, I drank one of these beers.
Yeah,
like I've drunk every one of these
absolutely.
500.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Even if you do one a day, that's nearly 2 years of content you've got in the back catalogue. You just start.
Yeah.
This was good. This one was good. That one sucked.
Yeah.
I'd never drink this again. This one was one that tastes like cat piss. This one, blah, 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 blah.
Like, there's not a lot of beers that I don't drink. I mean, that I wouldn't drink again, because even if I didn't like them, well, actually, yeah, I suppose I wouldn't buy them again. Eh? But none of them have really been bad.
Oh yeah.
They've just been like, oh, okay, that was interesting.
Are you a fan of sour beers?
No, not really. Although I've got a 9%er in there from Small Gods. So
I've had a
but I'll have to try it. It's lychee and some shit.
well, a fruit beer. Yeah, it was I want to say it was a raspberry sour.
Yeah.
Might have even been one of
Because
Joseph's.
a lot of breweries are doing that.
And that was actually, I thought,
Hang on,
surprisingly
Is he doing something?
palatable.
Is he? I don't know whether he is.
Oh, he has in the past, I thought.
Has he?
I'll have to ask him next time I see him.
I was unaware that he was doing sour.
No, he may not be, but I had a feeling that he had in the past. But I had one somewhere not that long ago, and it was surprisingly good, a raspberry sour. I did have a peach beer in at the, Vulcan Lane. There's that little Belgian beer pub in there.
Yes.
They had a peach beer, but it just tasted like a fizzy peach drink. It was so sweet.
Yes.
It tasted like peaches, but it didn't have any beer flavour to it.
Oh no, it doesn't. I don't know. I'm not technically that savvy in terms of brewing. I mean, I drink the beer, but I'm not a brewer by any means. But yeah, that's what I find with the sours. They're kind of refreshing. This sort of thing. If I did have a sour, and I've had a lot of sours, because they are our first beer. It's quite nice, and I always want to try different beer. So you see, if it's available, I'll go, oh, well, I'll try it.
Yeah.
But it's not something I go, oh yeah, I'll definitely go back to.
A first beer, you reckon, just to start with a sour, and then
and on a hot summer's day and things like that, it can be really nice. Yeah. And it's interesting, but it's not something I'd sit on. I suppose you get what they call the session sort of thing going on. I mean, for me, it's IPA. The IPA, I can sit on that and drink that, and I quite like a nice porter or a darker beer. But this one here, I don't even know how to say it, but it's salted lychee and passion fruit, heavily fruited imperial sour at 9%. So I'll have that next and see how that goes.
And that's called Broken Spectre. Is that the name of the beer? Or
Yeah,
is that the brewer?
Yeah, Broken. No, that's the name of the beer.
Oh yeah.
That's the Small Gods one as well. So I'll definitely try that one. And at 9%, it might be better. Who knows?
Stronger, better.
Yeah, stronger, better. Yeah. Well, I got a 13%, and I don't know. I took it out of the box. I was going to bring it over. I thought, no, 9%. I won't do with 13 on top of that. But that was in a little can. It was actually it's like a little cutie little can, 250 mils from Ubernaut, and 13% triple IPA, triple hazy IPA. It's actually done really well. It's just like for 250 mils, you just like knock that back and
And that's like having 3 beers.
Yeah,
Well, it's like having a beer,
It's
I
like a
guess.
wine, you know. So I was talking to my sister, you know, she drinks red wine and stuff, and I'm thinking, well, that's 3, you know, 3 of those cans is one whole bottle of wine. You know, it's 750 mils, 13%.
True, 250 is a little can, but
It's a
it's
little can,
13%.
but it's
That's a pretty
13%.
punchy. Yeah.
Yeah, and the price is actually pretty good.
Yeah.
You know, again done the price per volume.
I've seen a couple of people, including myself, sort of wipe myself out at a party drinking like Citra.
Yeah.
You know, the Liberty Citra, because it's
yes.
an 8%er.
That's
9%.
9%, yeah.
Yeah, so you've had a few beers, like, oh, I'll try one of those. And then you're like, oh my God, that hit me pretty hard. Yeah.
But that's nice. When I first tried that, the on the nose, smelling it, I just thought, that's cat piss.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I can't remember if it was it, but remember I came over to your place one day and we're sitting down and you had this beer and you said, try this and tell me what you think of it. And I said, look, you're not going to like what I'm going to say here, but this, and I looked at you and I said, it smells like cat piss. And you went, cat piss, that's what I said to everyone. Like we both thought it smelled like cat piss. I don't know if that was the Citra. I can't remember if that was.
Oh, it was a Citra. Yeah,
Was it?
yeah. I mean, it's like heavily dosed with Citra. But then I've had Citra in other breweries, and it's not been as strong. But then I have that was initially though. I mean, I've had it since then, and it's kind of like waned. You know,
Oh, yeah.
Whether I don't think they've changed the recipe, but I probably just got used to it.
Yeah.
But when I first tried it, it was just like,
Yeah.
oh, but in a good way. So
Yeah.
you know when you talk about, you know, I mean, they talk about the flavors, and they're like, you know, so cat piss should be a technical term for, you know,
It was, I think from memory, it was less of the flavour, but more the smell.
this pungent
the aroma
smell.
of it was like,
yeah.
hey, this is like cat piss. But
no, yeah.
in having said that, real cat piss is terrible. That wasn't
Oh, you
terrible.
you've tried cat piss?
No, I mean the smell of real cat piss
Yeah, right. Okay.
is terrible. That wasn't terrible, but it was reminiscent of cat piss. The
Yes.
thing that you had to say
Well,
smelled like was
just
cat
a
piss.
trigger. It's just a trigger on your brain, eh? You kind of go, oh.
There was nothing else that it's reminded you of.
I had a wine once at Westbrook, and they were saying that the roots on the wine tree or something went way down, it's so deep into a layer of sediment that was like reminiscent of mud flats. You know, so they had that, you know, when
In
mud
the
flats
wine.
get really, you know, mud in the wine, and it was, it was interesting, and I thought, okay, I'm going to really appreciate it, but I don't know how well that one would have sold.
yeah.
Because when you're drinking it, on the nose particularly, it just smelled like mud flats.
Plus, a lot of these scents and things, I think your mind can be convinced or guided as to what it tastes or smells like. These things are subtle. If you left your own, your own sense of smell, you'll figure it out. But I think people could easily guide you. Like the mud flats could be, there's like dark chocolate and dirt flavors or something like that. You could position it the right way and people would go, oh yeah, and I'll pick the nicer parts out of that rather than this smells like scummy old mud flats.
Well, they actually were willing. That was actually in the description when you're drinking it, you know, on the bottle sort of thing. So they were open about it.
Yeah.
You know.
There's no hiding it.
Yeah, but it was. I think they were coming from the angle that it was like, well, you know, we've got the sediment layer. You know, that was probably an ancient, you know, seashore,
A flood
sort of,
or something.
mangrove swamp or something like that. And here we are, you know, a million years later, growing grapes.
They must the flavors that turn up in fruits, and people say, yeah, this tastes like it's got hints of banana and pineapple and whatever.
Yeah.
Must we get there by one? I guess one of two ways. Either is that the fruit itself just produces those flavors naturally, which are similar to another fruit, which I guess must be it.
Yeah.
Or a similar type of flavor is drawn out of the ground. Like you're saying, if the environment it's in has an impact, then it'd be interesting to know what is in the dirt, the soil that is able to be brought up through the roots, not change or break down, or so that it still carries a flavour with it.
I saw a movie once. It was a French movie. It was about wine growing. And the first thing they did was like monks were doing it or something, or making this stuff, you know, this wine, and they went into this really. And that's what they were doing. They were looking at the bare ground, you know, where we're going to grow some grapes, and they would pick the dirt up and they'd eat the dirt
and see what they thought it was flavoured like.
Yeah, what it was flavoured like, and then that gave them an idea of what the wine
might be like.
Wine might be like,
Yeah.
So I think it is definitely a thing.
Well, they did. Obviously, they pull things out of the ground. The roots pull stuff up. I'm just interested to know what little change happens to some of those things.
Yeah.
Like if they taste the dirt, they go, this is salty and tastes a bit like walnuts. Does the wine come out like that, or does it come out salty but a bit like peanuts?
Yeah.
But it's still an indication. They're like, oh, it's going to be nutty because it's kind of a base nutty flavour.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting if the ground was like, oh, this tastes like nuts, and when it comes out, oh, it tastes like marshmallows. Like, well, what happened there?
Yeah. There's certainly some, plenty of room for creative, thinking, I suppose. Because when you read some of these beers, when they tell you like the tasting notes and things like that, there's always passion fruit and there's always mango and fresh cut grass. It was a classic one, for hops, I suppose, like that. And you're kind of drinking it going, I can sort of taste that, sort of thing.
I'll have another one just to make sure.
Yeah, just another one to make sure. But I suppose you can just imagine anything you like.
Yeah.
But I went down to Beer Spot. Haven't been there for a while, but I went down there and they wrote me into the guy. The owner was there, of Beer Spot, all over, because there's a few branches, and his son was there, and a couple other people. But anyway, they were having like a tasting because that's what they do every month. They, the kegs. They're always changing over kegs. You know how the Beer Spot works. They just got kegs. When a keg runs out, they replace it with another keg from another brewery. You know, so they're going around buying kegs. And anyway, so every month they have these tasting, and I happened to be at the right place at the right time. And they said, sit yourself down, and you can join us in this tasting, blind tasting.
Yeah.
So we're just trying all these beers, but it was actually really amazing to watch them, just coming up with all this creative, feedback. They were drinking it.
Is it you and the people who were drinking it were coming up with the feedback? Like,
I was a little bit blown away. I was like, I don't know, I'm just here, I'm just drinking it.
Yeah.
But they were like experienced, because they were looking for what are they going to buy? They buy all these different cans, all these different beers out on the shelf, and then they go, oh, frick, we like that one. Then they talk to the brewery and just say, look, send us up a keg,
Yeah.
But then just all the descriptions and and they go, no, that one's off. You don't want to drink that. And I probably wouldn't. I drank it and I was going, it tastes all right to me.
Yeah, isn't it meant to taste like that?
Yeah. And they go, well, it's not off, but I mean, it's like it's aged. It shouldn't be aged. It should be drunk fresh. It's not fresh. Blah blah blah. Like IPAs, it's a classic, a hazy IPA particularly. It has to be drunk fresh. The fresher, the better.
I wonder, just how much of that whole scene is marketing and how much is real tastes. I met a girl at a party once, and one of her jobs was working as I don't know what the technical term is, but as a smeller. Like she was working with some company making some sort of products. It was her job to just smell them and tell them, yep, that's good, or that's bad, or that's not quite right, or more of this or more of that. It'd be an interesting job.
I think it's serious stuff.
I
don't think they make it up. I mean, yeah, there's marketing, but I think when it comes to taste and to smell, some people, they really have got acute.
Yes, definitely. Some
and you
people
can
do.
really pick up different things.
So people, the sommeliers, the people who are just extremely knowledgeable about wines and have tried lots of them, you must almost have to have that sense, that amazing sense of smell and taste to be able to do that job. Otherwise, it's going to be everything tastes like a bit like a red wine.
And you've got to kind of clear. You've got to neutralise yourself as well. I mean, I couldn't do it because I wouldn't want to spit it out. But that's what you got to do. You got to drink it and wash it around in your mouth, get all the flavours and everything, and then spit it out. Because I can't do that. This is really nice.
Is it?
This bloody what? Salted lychee and passion fruit, heavily fruited imperial stout. Yeah, and of course
Imperial stout. Did you say?
Oh, sorry, imperial sour.
Sour, sorry.
It has actually got a description. I thought I read it somewhere. Okay, so it's not on here.
And is it overwhelmingly fruity, or does it taste like a beer with
I
fruit
would give you some,
taste?
but it's just not a good idea right now. Because I want it, and you're not having any. Okay. So what was the question?
Is it overly fruity as a drink, or does it taste like a beer with some fruit flavours to it?
It tastes kind of beery because I think it's the 9%.
Yeah, the alcohol comes through.
The alcohol coming through. When I looked at it and I went, oh yeah, I want one of those.
Yeah.
I think I got 2 of those. No, I don't know. Yeah. Yes, the alcohol makes it taste kind of beery, but it's not really. it's a different process. I think they call it kettle something or other. Yeah,
Kettle fermented.
yeah. Find out if Joseph actually brews out. I don't think he does.
No, I was talking to Dan, and I thought Dan had mentioned to me that Joseph had done a sour. So, but the one I had recently, I couldn't tell you who it was. It was someone had a raspberry sour going around, and it was good, surprisingly good.
Yeah,
You know,
but not beer. Not really.
Well, just I've had
Sour, isn't it?
I've had a
They don't call it
I've
beer,
had
I
a
think
sour
it
in the
says beer.
past, and it was dreadful. It was nothing but just sour. It was just
Yeah, well, this is
nothing
definitely
good
sour.
about it.
You only want to have a little.
I'll give it a taste.
Just
Just to see what it's all about. Yeah, that's all right. It'd be one. I think it'd be a one beer drink. I had one of those.
Yeah. Did you get the lychee and the passion fruit?
Well, if you hadn't said lychee, I probably would have said passion fruit. Yeah, I think.
On the nose, eh? Did you smell it?
Yeah.
You did smell it, yeah. Yeah, no, it's definitely not. Well, we can smell it in the nose. But of course, only when I've read it, I mean, it'd be hard for me. I mean, technically, I'm not that good. So it's like if I hadn't read anything about it, I wouldn't have gone, I can smell a lychee.
That's where I was going with that before.
Yeah.
Like even with some of those really good wine sommeliers, if you were to say grab one of these bottles off the shelf and just pour them a little bit, would they go, oh, that's a Grange 1969? I can tell by the muddy clay flavours and the foot rot. Or would they just go, yeah, it's probably Australian, but
Yeah.
I wonder.
But that's a skill.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think somebody could do that, eh? I mean, you could just say a blind, drink this.
Like if you
tell me what you think.
Yeah.
And
did I tell you when we saw Heston Blumenthal? He did a show, came out and did a show in a like town hall sort of venue. And he had quite a cool little set where he had people come up and drink white wine. And he just poured them white wines. A couple of people from the audience, and what do you think of it? Yeah. And they would mention that, it's great. It's lovely. It's white. It's bubbly and light, and really sort of quite heady. And then he had some people come on and drink some red wine, and asked them what they thought of the flavours of all that. And they're like, oh yeah, very dark and moody and blah blah blah. And at the end of it, he went, actually, both of these wines are exactly the same white wine. But in the red wine, we've just dropped in some red colouring, which has got no impact upon the flavouring at all. But let me just wind back to the music we were playing. And the music that he was playing for the white wine was this light, jazzy, elevated music, light and breezy. And then playing for the red wine, like this deep, heavy, moody music. And that had influenced, with the colour, had influenced people's perception of it.
Oh, that's absolutely real, though.
Yeah,
that really is.
He was talking about the whole dining experience. That it's not just the food; it's everything around the food that makes those really amazing dining experiences. When you walk out and go, "That was a fantastic experience." Now the food was good, but what you didn't realize was the lighting was good, and the people were good, and the music was good, and the temperature was right, and all those sort of things.
Atmosphere.
Atmosphere.
Yeah. So that, well, that's what we like.
That's what we want.
Yeah, that's what we want.
Yeah, that's what you aim for. Have you been down to try the little Butcher Baker for a coffee?
I have.
Yeah.
No, I went down there. I heard about it. Pretty quick, smart. And I went down there. I was actually the one. I was the one who uploaded it to Google Maps.
Oh, did you?
It wasn't on Google Maps.
Oh, good on you.
So I actually went through. I don't know whether it was a breach of copyright or whatever.
Did you say I own it?
No. I just went around. They had photos.
Oh yeah.
They had like a website. Well, it was like a third-party website or something that they were using.
Yeah.
And it had some pictures of them. I cut them out, and then put them onto Google Photos, onto Google Maps.
So you play content.
And then
creator?
all of a sudden, bang! You had all these reviews and shit coming through.
Oh.
So I put them on the map.
You should go down and tell them. I think it's Ricardo, the guy. The guy who owns it. He seems lovely. I've met him once or twice now.
Yeah. I did have a bit of a run-in when I went down there on that morning, because I went down there early. I wasn't going to get in there with the crowd, so I got there at 8:30 for a breakfast. And, of course, I rocked up with my phone, my Pixel 7 Pro, and I used the PayWave, on the phone. That's all I do.
Yeah.
So I quite often, realistically, I don't carry a card. So I get caught out with the whole pay, they
don't have PayWave.
They don't have PayWave, and it's just like, what the? And of course, they didn't have PayWave, and they're like, and I said, would you do bank transfer? Because that's another one. And, it's that some people don't choose not to have pay wave because it costs them.
Yeah.
And I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
But then you can also pass it on, the pay wave cost.
Well, that's normally you do, don't you?
No.
Credit. PayWave's not just credit card, is it? PayWave can be for a
Well, it
debit
is a credit
account.
card channels or something, they say. So that's why it costs. That's why the banks charge more, because it's treated as a credit card.
And they normally just on-charge that.
Yeah. Well, they don't. I mean, a lot of places, obviously, big places who do pay wave, they don't pass it on, It's just like they absorb the cost because they can afford it. But in a small outfit, which I can appreciate, it's like, well, yes, we want pay wave, but we don't want to pay the cost. And I know that the Turkish Cafe, for instance, has just taken on that. They did pay wave.
Yeah.
And they were absorbing the cost. But just recently they've changed over and they're just like
passing it on.
They're just passing it on. I'm totally cool with that.
Yeah.
And I suggested all these things to the butcher baker. And they were like, yeah, we've just opened, sort of thing like that. But in the end, it was good. I mean, they catered for my particular need, which was I wanted breakfast. I want to feed. I want to try what you got, but I can't pay for it right now. So they just put it on tick,
Yeah.
And then I came back with my card, had to go away, come back again, and sorted it out.
You're surprised those sort of things actually often build friendships and relationships with people.
Yeah.
The smooth interaction would have just been a hi bye, know nothing about them. Instead, you had to you're a little bit challenged. And how do we deal with that? Oh, we can work together. We can be friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I did. I kind of ordered my breakfast, blah, blah, blah. And then it came to the pay, and I pulled out my phone, and they go, "Oh, we don't have PayWave." And I went, "What are we gonna do?" And they go like, "Oh, I don't know." So it was all but we sorted it out. Yeah. And then I gave them a good review.
It's a cool little spot.
And it's a cool spot.
The fireplace for the cooking there looks cool. The massive big beam that goes across the centre of the ceiling there. I'm assuming that's one piece of wood. Have a look at that thing. It's like this deep and this wide. I'm
just thinking, right? I'm going to go there tomorrow morning and have breakfast again. I didn't actually sit. I sat outside because I like outside.
Yeah.
So I didn't actually get to
sit inside.
Well, I went inside, but obviously to pay and order. But no, I'll probably go inside and sit down and just really suck in, what's going on inside. My
understanding is they're licensed inside.
Yeah.
They're not licensed in the outside courtyard yet. So they're waiting for
Do they have any good craft beer?
Council to get there.
I might be getting in the morning, but
Renee's going down to see them to supply them with some of our alcoholic kombucha, the happy hour from Mama's Brew
And
Shop.
of course, I noticed they do the whole Real Breed project.
Yes, Dan provides them with pastries.
Yes. Well, that's good, So that's
great.
Good, yeah.
They do, but the beer they don't have Liberty beer. They've got Sawmill beer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, Sawmill's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sawmill.
Oh, but they haven't got Liberty. Well, that's interesting.
No,
that's just down the road. You'd think they would have Liberty. Oh.
Yeah, although I had, and this again may be completely wrong, I had heard that maybe they were based out at South Head or somewhere. Maybe they previously had some agreement with Sawmill or know them or something. Who knows? Yeah.
But I know Sawmill is top notch. Absolutely good. I mean, can give a thumbs up to Sawmill. So if they've got Sawmill, that's a go. Yeah, but when I went down there, and of course I had the breakfast, and then of course I noted that they had the Real Bread Project. What do they call them?
Poisson.
No, the other things.
Pan au chocolat.
Day dishes,
Yeah.
I went, oh God. Because I go down to the Real Bread Project all the time, So it's like, I was hoping for something different, something new, You just got Real Bread Project. Ugh.
Oh, you've just got real good gear.
Yeah. I mean, hey, there's nothing wrong with it. It's really good. I shop there all the time. But it's like, I was kind of hoping you have your own one, which they did say they did. They had their own scone or something like that. I'm a big fan of scones.
Yeah.
So they highly recommended the scone. So, yeah, I'll have to get one of those, which was made by the guy, the owner sort of thing.
Ah, right.
Yeah.
Made on the premises scones.
Yeah, made on the premises, but most of their stuff was shipped in from
Real Bread Project.
But it's like I've done Real Project to death,
Yeah.
Well, not to death, but...
It's good. It's a sweet little treat at the end of that road. You walk down Mill Road in the morning sometimes, Saturday morning, get a coffee from them,
so
get a pastry.
You've done that?
Yeah, I walk down there every couple of weekends, I suppose. I'll probably end up walking down there. I'm not at the moment. I'm not eating pastries at the moment, just eating meat. So no. Well, I can still get a coffee, I guess.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun getting a pastry.
Yeah, I don't. I could draw. I could walk. Ooh. Or I'd probably drive.
Yeah.
Suck up some, I mean, burn some more carbon.
So do you reckon you can have fun without drinking?
Not at this stage. Yeah, I think I'm a fail. Yeah. I mean, one day, when my doctor says you really got to, and my body, I have a medical emergency, and my doctor says, well, you might need to give up drinking, and then I'll go, oh yeah, it might be a good idea.
It'd have to be the right sort of medical emergency though, because if it was right, if you were really like, oh shit, I'm just about dead, I'm just about had it. Well, then what's the point of giving up?
Well, that's right. If the doctor says, well, you ain't got much long time to live, it's like, well, I'm not giving up now. Yeah. But if he says, well, if you give up now, and you might, live on, it's like I might give it a go. But then at the same time, that whole death thing, like my mother's died recently, in the last few months. And she was expecting another 10 years of life. She nearly made it to 80.
Yeah.
She was hoping to get near the 90. I mean, Mum to 94. But she got cancer. So that was a fail. So there's been talk like she was robbed for the last 10 years of her life, blah, blah, blah. But I'm just thinking in the big picture, it's 10 years is neither here nor there anyway. I mean, we're all eking out, every year, every month, every bit of life we can get out of it. But at the end of the day, lights go off when we're dead, regardless.
Yeah.
I mean, does it really make that much difference? So that's kind of my thinking. I'm thinking, well, maybe I should just,
Yeah, it's a weird one. I mean, I can imagine that when you're on death's door, no matter what age you are, you would generally do just about anything you could for another second.
Yes.
Draw another breath, another second. Things would have to be pretty bad for you not to want to do that.
Yes.
Yeah, I would think.
Although that's a good question, because when it comes down to euthanasia, it's like, you've got to make a decision while you're capable. So euthanasia law in New Zealand at the moment, as far as I understand it, is basically you've been diagnosed terminal illness. You're going to die in 12 months, up to 12 months, whatever. But you have to make a decision to pull the plug before that. You can't actually get into a delirious state and, of being pumped up with pain meds and whatnot, and then decide, oh, that's it, I want to die now. They go, no, it's too late. Yeah. You have to die. You have to decide to die.
You're too close to death.
Yeah. we're gonna stretch it out now. And that's what they did with my mum.
Logic.
It's like in Australia. I thought in Queensland, that's where my mum was resident. I thought they had. And my sister was telling me over there that they had assisted death, But then, of course, they were umming and ahhing, beating around the bush, I was like, no, we're not telling her. And I said, come on, if you got, can you give her the lethal injection or what?
Yeah.
And they're like, because all she was doing was, I said, she doesn't want to live anymore. She's not living.
Yeah.
And they go, no, we can't. No, we don't have euthanasia.
And that
I went, okay, right. The penny dropped.
Even at that last moments of life, but even before that, like for some people, that 10 years, so they live from instead of 80, they live to 90. But if those last 10 years are shit and they're losing their mind and they're wandering around or they're in pain or just having no fun, you start to question, is that what you want? Live to 90, but the last 10 years were just an absolute nightmare. Like, would it have been better to say,
waiting?
Leave at 80 and have enjoyed your life to there. But then again, that's the thing. I think most people, and I think it's just built into us at a level below being human, at a level of being an animal, is that
a primal.
Just anything. Yeah, your primal drive to survive. It's like, well, if I don't need to be dead, I'll take another breath.
That coupled with fear of missing out.
Well, FOMO,
FOMO, yeah.
Well, that's the thing too about death. When I think about people that I know that have passed on, one of the feelings is I think I put myself into their shoes to some extent and think, fuck, you didn't get to see any of that, Like once you've gone, that's it. Immediately, once you're gone, that's it. You're missing out on everything.
Yeah, that's it. Once you're gone, you're missing out. That's it, and that's what I believe. Yeah. And I can't,
and that's what's keeping you going is that FOMO.
Yeah, I mean, no, I'm just thinking in terms of like other people's beliefs, religion and all that sort of stuff. It's just like, I mean, I've got to respect that. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day. People can be religious, people can believe in God, and believe that there's an afterlife and all that sort of stuff. It doesn't really, I mean, I go, I don't believe in any of that stuff. When we die, we die. That's it. Our consciousness was born of our existence, and it will die from our non-existence. But if they choose to believe that we're going to a better place, I mean, it doesn't really matter because when they die, it's because they might go to that better place, but I don't think so. But they're going to be dead, so it doesn't really matter.
What about the idea of the consciousness floating out there, and then when the body starts to form, that becomes somehow like an antenna for the consciousness, like a TV, can kind of be an antenna to get a signal coming through there. You can't really see the signal coming through the air, yet you can get television because of an antenna. If your body is effectively an antenna for consciousness, and so once your body dies, the consciousness, whatever it is, may still exist, but it's no longer being displayed on the television for others to see, because the antenna has now gone.
I get that. And I say bollocks. It's fucking bullshit. It's a fucking load of crap. It's just another way of believing that we are going to live on.
Oh no, not that. I think what it does is, because the other thing is people could look and say, oh, okay, well, so these consciousnesses just get formed when someone's born. Well, that seems equally as difficult to believe. It's like, really, a consciousness, this thing we can't measure, we don't understand. Like, we can measure the body. Yeah, we understand how cells get together. They take stuff out of the atmosphere. They take dirt, they take water, they take nutrients, and they build cells.
Yeah.
But the consciousness, somehow this thing also gets built there. This is, I think, why people, not that they want to have an excuse to say we live afterwards, because you're not living as a human anymore. It's not like you're living afterwards and you're there with your friends with your arms and your legs and your head. It's just that whatever the conscious entity is might be something that flows through, is received for a while, and then
in the universe. No, I think I get what you're saying. But no, I don't. It's not hard for me to kind of imagine that when we're born, when we're conceived, and a little something grows inside your mum, there's a consciousness growing. It starts off small. Just starts off with a real basic consciousness, and then the time you're born, 9 months later, it's developed. And then throughout your life, throughout your adulthood, your consciousness grows and grows and grows. I mean, that's it.
But it's a weird thing.
So why is it so hard to believe that consciousness can just come from,
Well, because it's weird. There's I think there's for a long time been a thought that the consciousness and the brain are connected, but that doesn't seem to hold true. There seem to be these cases where people, are unconscious and the brain's perfectly fine, or they're conscious and the brain's not fine, and weird things like that. So it's not like the brain itself is completely causally tied to consciousness, but you still get a consciousness. And I don't know where, it certainly feels as though, maybe it's just because the eyes are here, that if I was going to position my consciousness, it's around the head area. But then why? Why doesn't my arm feel conscious? Because you're saying like the consciousness just grows when you're a fetus or whatever.
No, I do believe it comes from the brain.
Start to grow.
I mean, it's the mind though, isn't it? There's a difference between the brain and the brain is like the physical.
Yeah.
And the mind is like, is much closer to the consciousness. I guess you could say the brain, the mind, the consciousness,
But it's a weird thing that the brain, these physical connected neurons, somehow create this sense of awareness.
Oh, hang on, actually, because I've read a book that talked about the head brain, the heart brain, and the gut brain. So I believe that, so and that seems to relate to what you're saying to the whole body. So it's not just the brain, it's the heart is like a neuron network, and the gut is a neuron network as well. So they all, so your body as a whole, and your gut, your heart is the main ones. They all connect with each other, and they create a consciousness. So I totally accept that. That starts when you're born, and when you're conceived, and that ends when you die.
So then what would happen, let's just say, if you had a stomach and a heart transplant and you had part of your brain taken out as a cancer biopsy? Does that mean your consciousness is different? You're a different conscious being now? or are you the same person?
Well, I'm just trying to imagine how we would do that, you know.
Well, people have heart replacements all the time.
Yeah.
You can have stomach replacements.
Yeah.
And you can get a chunk of your brain taken out, which might stop
Yeah,
you from
but then you have
walking, but you can still think.
Okay, so you have another heart go in there.
Yeah.
So therefore, so that could actually alter your consciousness, I suppose.
That's what I wonder. I wouldn't have thought that it would. I like the idea that Donald Hoffman's got. He believes that the substrate of the universe, which we tend to think of as being space time, and they know. I can't explain to you exactly how they know, but
I want you to explain how they know.
Well, I can have a crack at it, but I think that some of the leading edge physicists at the moment believe that space-time is not fundamental. Space-time isn't the base substrate of the universe as we once thought it was. Yeah, okay. There's something beneath it, which is more axiomatic to the universe than space-time itself. And Hoffman feels that what that underlying thing is consciousness, or what he calls conscious agents. And so he believes that the consciousness that we see is actually a collection of conscious agents being built up together. And he's done some work around trying to show how that could be feasible. He's also done some interesting work on showing how...
This is all theory, of course.
It is all theory, but some of his work has been done on showing via evolutionary methods how the brain works to reduce the level of complexity. Like he was saying, what we actually see, the actual universe around us is tremendously complex. There's a trillion billion atoms here in front of you and I.
Quantum mechanics.
And we can't see. If we were to try to actually recognize all of the atoms at that atomic level, our brains would just be overloaded.
I am really liking this beer.
So he talks about the brain making shortcuts and making icons, basically. So what my brain actually, what I represent of you is a low fidelity, low resolution representation of what you really are. You're really a trillion million atoms and molecules there right now.
Oh, yeah.
And I can see them, but I'm not interpreting them as that. I'm interpreting them as a T-shirt and headphones and a person in there. And he's done some work on proving that the brain does that. It simplifies things down for us based on evolutionary practices and mathematics. And basically he did some studies where they said, okay, let's build in computers, some beings that can see the world like it really is. And then let's build some beings that build low resolution versions of what's out there. The ones that do that live. The ones that don't, they die. They just can't get anything done. There's too much information processing for them. They can't achieve anything. So
there's no baseline, because it's just endless.
Yeah, that's right. It's endless, and so you can't deal with endless input. You've got to break it down into something you can represent.
You've got to stop.
Yeah,
and just
like even this glass, a trillion atoms all circulating, holding one another together in a lattice. Can't handle that. I think of it as just a piece of glass. Okay, that I can manage, I can deal with. So
that's what we're always doing, isn't it? I mean, we're always just trying to encapsulate, just sort of, okay. I mean, that's what a fact is, isn't it? I mean, a fact is basically as far as we know. We'll call that a fact. I mean, but a fact. I mean, there are no facts. Because because you could always push the boundaries of what we know.
It's within the frame of reference that we know. Yeah. That's right. So on this topic, though, of the human brain breaking things down into icons to represent stuff, his work on that is really good and seems to make a lot of sense.
Send me some links.
So with Donald Hoffman. But then his other thing...
I'll never remember that name.
This is why his other sort of theory that what underpins the universe is consciousness... I kind of put some weight to that because of the fact that his other topic on brains representing things as icons, the way he's proved that evolutionary and sort of with mathematics, I tend to think, okay, this guy's well thought out. If he's thinking that this consciousness could be the fundamental thing beneath the space-time, then I'm going to listen. I think maybe it could work.
Cool. So how did that happen? By chance?
Well, no.
Is there really a God?
they've just apparently everyone's pretty much agreed that space-time is not fundamental, that they know there's stuff beneath it because there are problems that they can't solve with space-time, and there are other.
I don't even understand space-time.
No, neither do I.
But anyway, they've said, these academics,
Yeah.
that there is something below that.
Yes.
And then what's below that?
Well, that I don't know. They haven't yet figured out what's below the space-time to know. Maybe the layer below space-time is the fundamental layer, but maybe it's not. Who knows?
Yeah. But it's all, like I say, it's all theory. And that's what the nature of theory is, isn't it? You come up with a theory and then you proceed to
try and test it against something to see if it fits, if it works.
You can kind of, actualise it.
Yeah. Which is hard to do with consciousness. And this is why the conscious thing is just such a weird thing. Like the consciousness, as far as we understand, I guess, has been with us for as long as we've been animals.
Well, it's everything,
maybe.
It? I mean, consciousness is everything that we.
But who's to say that consciousness isn't in everything? This is, I think, what I think.
You sound like bloody Avatar.
This is what I think Hoffman is saying. Is that we have a very, let's call it, developed consciousness because of the structural way we've been built. But the microphone's built out of the same stuff. It's built out of atoms and stuff, the same as everything. So maybe it has a consciousness as well. It can't describe it. It doesn't have a mouth. It can't tell you about it. A rock. Yeah. Why wouldn't a rock?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I had a conversation with a good friend of mine from years ago. Yeah, it was about the whole rock. Rocks can talk. Rocks are the most intelligent form of life on this planet. Yeah. Well, they're durable, eh? I mean, they've sustained, their existence.
They've got a lot of experience. They've seen a lot.
They've seen a lot.
Did you watch the Graham Hancock series,
I did.
Ancient Apocalypse?
Yes.
That's great.
Oh, it was great.
Yeah.
Yeah. I brought up, I've come up with a lot of questions.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, yeah. But again, it's just shaping, isn't it? It's just like, he said, what if? Could this be? And you got to just triggers your whole imagination. Like these rocks that seemingly fell down, in this way, could they have been placed there, or that sort of carry on. Yeah,
that one in the underwater off Japan, that was probably the least convincing of them. Those rocks that are tiered like steps. It's like, could it be man-made or could it be organic? Because maybe that could be organic.
Under the water.
Yeah, that one. Yeah. But the other stuff, so much of that is, I think, really convincing. Like, he sold me. I'm pretty.
Yeah. You knew a lot about. You followed him for years.
I've read his books.
You know what he's all about.
Yeah.
So this was just a good example of how to encapsulate what he was, his essence of Graham Hancock.
Yeah, this was just a good series for him, like a great popular series to go and create off the back of the work that he's done.
I flicked it over to a link to my sister, and my brother-in-law. And then they watched it and they went, "Oh, that's really great."
Yeah.
And they never heard of him before.
Yeah.
But so it was, so that's what it's going to do. It just brings it into the home, like Graham Hancock. Okay, I know that guy.
Yeah.
And then he's dedicated his whole life to
interesting guy,
to the whole concept of, before the Egyptians and all that sort of stuff. It's like the last ice age. What's it called? Atlantis, that sort of thing, a previous civilization that was quite actually advanced.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly.
That's his whole life work, isn't it?
Yeah, about 12,000 years ago, thereabouts. They're around then.
And I'm thinking that's the whole Great Flood thing too.
It is.
Sort of came to effect as well.
Yeah.
Like people just think of this Great Flood. Well, there was a Great Flood. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been tied into a story in the Bible, but it's in so many other cultures. They've got the Great Flood myth. Yeah. No, and they know there's a geological record. They know that there were big floods. The sea levels rose, and all this ice melted on the north of the planet.
But that was from a meteor.
Yeah, comet fragments of a comet over about 1,000-year period.
I can totally imagine. You're in an ice age. Meteor comes down,
big one,
just like big one, and it just melts it suddenly. There's going to be a lot of water.
Yeah,
and it's a massive friggin'.
And there's interesting stories because a lot of the myths they talk about massive waves, but they also talk about massive fire, which is a strange combination. Unless you imagine, say, you've got like fragments of comets coming in, some hitting snow, causing rising sea levels, some hitting the ground and just fireballs and that kind of thing. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
It all seems quite biblical, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, it's all. I don't think there's any. Yeah, it is all biblical, but there's nothing in there that I found to be like tough to comprehend or difficult to really believe. Everything he seemed to be able to back up with some level of evidence, and there seems to be growing more and more evidence.
But the trouble is, it's like 12,000 years ago, so the evidence is quite thin on the ground, isn't it?
Well,
I mean, it's all theory again. It's like we look at this and this could have happened. Let's look at this. You know, there's no solid explanation why this happened. Let's kind of imagine that maybe this happened.
Well, no one was there to record it, but there are a lot of pieces of information that seem to point to the one conclusion. You know, like the fact that there's that layer across the planet at that time of these tiny glass spherules which come from.
I'm on board. I'm on board.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. I mean, I totally get that. That's a real possibility. So yeah. But of course, it's just the nature of time, isn't it? I mean, thousands of years go by.
Oh man!
And then things just disappear.
10,000 years. 10,000 years. Not to mention that. So if you're thinking about what might have been around, you know, what structures, where they might have lived, their houses, if they went as far as having mechanical vehicles, then people say, well, where's the remnants of them? Well, if most of those people were living on the coast, and then suddenly sea levels rise, like immediately the sea levels, that's all just washed away, and everything else, all your metals are just going to corrode away over time. You know, I remember seeing when I was about.
You say mechanical vehicles?
Where?
They didn't have combustion, did they?
Well, that's what I'm saying. We don't know.
They have electric vehicles.
They might have done.
Tesla's running around.
Well, there's stuff from ancient Egypt. Yeah, there's some of those holes bored through stone. And when you look at the striation, the marks from them, those marks appear to indicate that some high-speed metal drilling device went through it.
Yes, right.
And it's like, well, okay, well, how did they do that? These things apparently indicate that they were doing, like maybe a reversing sort of thing, not just screwed in. Maybe they were just spinning around backwards and forwards. So it's like, okay, that sounds like some sort of AC electricity that would enable you to do that. That's what we would know how to do that today. Yeah. So if that is the case, then, give it 10,000, 12,000 years, there wouldn't be much of that stuff around. I saw cars that had been left out in a paddock, and they would have been 30 years old.
And half disintegrated.
There was bugger all left of them.
Yeah.
They were just all rusted away, just eaten away, Yeah. So you give it, that was 40 years. Give it another 60 years, there's 100 years, see what's left. Do that 10 more times, you got 1,000 years. Then do that 10 more times, you got 10,000 years. Yeah. There's nothing left.
Yeah. But it just comes down to imagination, though. So it's like, from one little bit of evidence or one little bit of whatever remained, Graham Hancock, as an example, would just go, this could be this, this could be that.
Yeah, but he ties things together that are related. Yeah, either they're related because they're the same distance underwater, and so at that time, 10,000 years ago, they would have been above the water level.
I totally get that, and it's a possibility.
Yeah.
But then it could be totally wrong, it could be totally different, So it's not like, it's just a theory, isn't it? So at the end of the day, it's just like, okay.
Well, I don't think anyone's disputing that some of the stone is 12,000 years old. Like Göbekli Tepe and Karahan Tepe and those things, they're 12,000 years old. They know that. Everyone agrees on that. Yeah. They're old. But then you start to wonder, how did they carve those things 12,000 years ago when
do they believe it? Do they
that's accepted now. Yeah, that's
accepted.
Yeah,
12,000 years old.
Yeah, Göbekli Tepe and that they're accepted now as being that old. Okay. And so that's what raises some of these questions. 12,000 years ago we were meant to all just be hunter gatherers. Yeah. How the fuck did people find enough time to develop these things which follow the sun accurately over time?
They were into astronomy and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. And that sort of takes, fair enough to go astronomy, we know it's going to do a loop around and be back here in about a year's time. But to be able to plan these things accurately over time, you're talking mathematics and being able to record stuff. And
it also seems to be religious-based, doesn't it?
Well, I think a lot of it flows from this. Religions have come. The religions we're aware of.
There's always that belief. There's always that whole, where...
This stuff's older than religion.
Yeah.
Like the religions, most of our religions are what? 2,000, 3,000 years old, I guess. When was Jesus born? 2,000 years ago?
Yeah, the religions didn't start then.
No, they're old.
The Jews were hardcore.
Yeah, but I don't know, what, 1,000 years before that, maybe? So that's what I'm saying. Let's go back, say 4,000 years.
Well, I mean, right back to the beginning of man, of consciousness, basically.
Yeah, well,
we're all thinking it.
There probably were, but the ones that we see today, Judaism, Hinduism, Buddhism, Christian, Muslim, all of those things. I don't know. When did they start? Let's give them 5,000 years.
Okay.
So even 5,000 years ago, so I'm saying you go back another 7,000 years before that. This stuff, in some ways, seems to be before religions. I'm sure there were religions that they had religions then.
I don't think it's before religion because it's all just about. That's what I picked up from that series on Graham Hancock was. That was just religion was just as strong back then as it is now.
But I wonder what religions back then, were they more animal and nature based religions?
I think the religions were based on what's it all about. Why are we here?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what religion to me is based on. It's just like there's got to be something more. I feel like I understand what's going on around me. How do I understand what's going around me? This is something that was magically given to me.
Well, that becomes
gift.
That's more like a philosophical understanding or view on the world than necessarily than religion. Just like religion, I would sort of define more as being often giving yourself up to some higher entity, God or gods.
Creator.
Creator. But yeah.
That's what I mean. So, and then of course it just comes to, it's the fear of death. I mean, for me, religion is just purely the fear of death.
Or trying to avoid it, getting a way out of it.
Oh, we're getting out. Well, no, I mean, we all believe, no Christian or religious person will believe that we don't die, but our consciousness will carry on.
Well, sometimes, it's a way to get out of it, isn't it? There's that.
Because somehow we believe that our consciousness is oh so powerful and oh so. It's an ego thing, It's just like my awareness is so great that it just can't die. I can't be non-existent after my physical body dies. But I mean, I totally believe that my physical body dies. My egotistical, consciousness flatlines. That's it.
But is your consciousness the same as your mind and your ego? I wonder if there's consciousness is there, and then on top of that you build your mind and your ego, and they're influenced as human traits over time. I would say cats and dogs are conscious, but I don't know if they have egos. Maybe they do, but I don't know if they do. Like, are they egotistical?
Yeah, well, that's true. I mean, so cats and dogs, conscious. I mean, so that makes the difference between will and instinct.
Same, isn't it?
It's the same old, really. Isn't
it? I think we just probably give it a better name for ourselves because, like you said, egotistically we feel we're better.
We're better. Yeah. I agree.
Man, I've watched
dogs, they're totally conscious.
I've watched some cat videos on Instagram, and like one the other day, whether it was a fake or not, it was a really good fake. It was a fake, but it was a dog, similar sort of size dog to Flynn, type of dog to Flynn, who was helping a cat. Was trying to climb up over a little gate in the house, and the dog was standing up and was trying to help it over, and it looked so humanoid. It looked like a person trying to help someone over.
Was a video.
Yes, but this was a dog and a cat. Let's just assume.
Context, I mean, that's been,
Yeah, but it was context. Yeah, regardless, it was trying to push it over. For whatever reason, they'd contrived that they wanted to get over that fence, and it looked like this dog was helping. Now, it could be a great fake, but if it wasn't,
consciousness.
Well, this is what I'm saying.
Is this consciousness thinking?
Isn't that it? Isn't that conscious thinking? Isn't that dog consciously going, you know what, you and me, cat, we've got a plan. Or I'm aware of you, cat, because you want to go over there. I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you. I'm not just sitting back watching you going, haha, you're stuck. That's what I'm saying. I think they're conscious.
Is it self-awareness? I mean, is that consciousness? I mean, I thought you were saying that consciousness was will or instinct. So I just prod along, I'm not thinking about why am I here, what's it all about. I'm just existing. Is that not consciousness?
I think if you're aware of it, I think your self-awareness is part of your consciousness. Isn't that a key element? Some sort of self-awareness?
So if there was no self-awareness, there's that not consciousness? Because I was thinking cats and dogs. I don't think they're self-aware. I don't think a dog is thinking, "Oh, that cat's struggling. I want to go and help it over the fence." But I just think the fact that they're actually just doing shit.
They're conscious.
They're conscious.
Could be.
I don't know.
Well, that probably aligns with Hoffman's thinking that all of these things are built up of layers of conscious entities. Some more conscious or more able to express consciousness than others.
Well, layers, yeah, they would actually absolutely explain it.
Yeah.
There's not just consciousness,
and
you're there. Hooray, bloody fireworks. It's just these layers of consciousness. So I mean, you go from a slug, from a single cell amoeba or whatever, whatever the hell they are.
And yeah, I would imagine it's conscious.
That's a level of consciousness, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right up to...
Because it seems to be trying to exist for some reason. It's got some structure. It's trying to do things and eat and survive.
But if that's the case, then there's no reason why we can't believe that consciousness comes of physical existence. So when there is no physical existence, there is no consciousness. When we become physical, then consciousness begins.
Well, that's an assumption, and it might be an egotistical assumption that we make, that you need to have a physical structure for consciousness to exist. Yeah, but maybe you don't. Again,
so you could be just a consciousness without a physical.
Yeah, because if we were to say that consciousness comes from the brain structure, from the neurons, then you would imagine that computers will have consciousness.
Yes, absolutely. I believe that. Yeah.
Yeah, they must be. How?
Well, I believe that will happen. Yeah.
Unless there's some particular aspect of carbon as opposed to silicon, because those silicon neural pathways in a computer, which are built upon the structure of the brain and represent them, do we believe similar things? Then surely, if we're conscious, they're conscious, unless there's something different between carbon and silicon, which are the primary molecules there.
Well, I don't think. Honestly, I don't think there will be.
But there could be.
Yeah.
Just like there could be, just like some
materials,
just like some materials are magnetic. Maybe some materials are conscious and other ones aren't.
So there will be a carbon version and there will be a silicon version.
Yeah.
Of consciousness.
Yeah. Because it's structure. The structure of the brain is what some people think is causing consciousness. I'm not so sold on that. I kind of feel like that's a weird... Is that it? If you build this structure in the universe, it creates... Now, it could, because it might just be that structure creates some flux in a field, and it's the conscious field, and it becomes enabled, like the same way...
Okay, so I get what you're saying. I'm trying to get what you're saying. I can agree that consciousness doesn't necessarily start with something physical. It could be out there before physical. But I mean, consciousness could come in any form. Any number of forms. I mean, we only know physical, don't we? Well, on the Earth, we're kind of aware of is the physical
world. Yeah,
a physical world.
Yeah.
So we could absolutely be, but that doesn't necessarily mean that when we were non-physical, there was a consciousness that. Well, you mentioned earlier, like connects to it or something. Somebody said, we become physical, and then a consciousness
connects to it.
Connects to it. I don't.
No, but what if? So like this? There's an electron field. There's electric fields. There's magnetic fields. The idea of the universe, when you get down to quantum physics, is that there's a field here, and it's not doing anything. But when it somehow gets excited, that creates a particle. You get particles created. So there's fields in space-time that get excited for whatever reason, which create atoms, quarks and atoms, and they hang together and they create a physical entity. Well, maybe there's a conscious field there as well. And that conscious field gets activated, energized, and consciousness becomes apparent alongside. Maybe they happen together. Maybe they do. Maybe physical entities, when they get created out of their field, they also cause like when you have a magnetic field and you move it around a copper wire, that causes an electric field to move. They're linked together. Maybe physical things are tied to a conscious field, but it's not until you get to a certain level, like we have, or layers, that you can start to express it and talk about it. Like a slug can't talk about it. It doesn't have a mouth. It doesn't have ears.
we assume.
Perhaps doesn't have brain to construct the thoughts about consciousness, but it's conscious. It has got that consciousness. And we've collected that consciousness, but we can also have a brain which allows us to think of our consciousness and then speak about it. So we go, oh, we're conscious because we talk about it. Dogs and cats.
What were they talking about on that movie?
Which one?
They went through like a wormhole.
Interstellar. Your favourite movie.
One of my favourite movies, yeah. Yeah, my favourite movie. It is obviously my favourite movie. They talked about... what did they talk about?
Time travel? Space travel?
Oh, fuck, I just lost it then. That was... Yeah. Oh, God. I have time for another beer, I think.
I don't think it was consciousness that they were talking about in Interstellar.
Well, they were talking about love.
Were they?
It was like love was the thing that was universal. It was gravity. Gravity was a big one.
Yeah.
Oh no! At the end, when they went into that
into the
multi-dimensional thing.
Yeah.
But there was the beings. They put the wormhole there because everyone. I know all the theories I've read. Not that I've read a lot. Suggest that wormholes aren't a natural occurrence. Something has to be put
create
there.
them.
Yeah, that's what I understand it. And then, of course, they said this future version of ourselves, they were non-physical. Were they non-physical? And they just created this physical space where he had the bookshelves and he was sending a message back and all that sort of stuff. They created that to give them some sort of contact, because knowing that was the level of consciousness that he was at. But they were beyond that. And then, of course, I've seen that in other sci-fi type things where we go beyond the physical. Our consciousness goes beyond the physical. Yeah,
well, the way that happened, I can kind of see how that happens. But I like the antenna analogy, where as our bodies have grown to form in the physical world these brains that allow us to think and deal within our physical world, they happen to be the type of net or antenna or receiver that can accommodate a consciousness. Now, the consciousness, when you die, the consciousness is just like it was before, just like it is now, just like it was after you die. It's just that we experience the consciousness now because of the brain that we've got. And the senses we have. Who's this? Oh, that's
Garage Project, and that's January 2023. So that's now. That's now. Hazy
That's
IPA.
got a what is it? It's like a type of nut flavour.
Nut flavour
to the back of it. Yeah.
I don't know. Just
I think it's nut.
Fresh IPA.
Oh, hey, I saw something really interesting on the interweb. These new fusion reactors.
Oh, the fusion reactors, love them.
The Helion ones. Have you seen these?
No.
These are so cool. Okay. So there's reactors, fission reactors, fusion reactors. You pump a lot of energy and you get some particles to hit each other. They join. When they fuse, they release a lot of energy. Normal reactors. Yep. That will create a lot of heat.
Normal fusion reactors.
We got fission reactors and fusion ones they're trying to build. They're trying to build, I think it's a tokamak building in France, which will be a fusion reactor. But they work this way. The fusion occurs, energy is released. There's high-pressure water wrapped around that. That high-pressure water gets heated really hot, turns into high-pressure steam, turns a turbine. That turns a turbine attached to an electric generator. So you go from...
That's how it works, yeah.
Classic stuff. So you go from fusion, release of energy, into heat, into steam, into mechanical energy, creates electricity. These new ones, the Helion ones, I hope I'm getting that right, Helion. Dude, these guys create a plasma donut. Two of them. They create them. They have these big magnets. They create these magnetic fields, and they get this plasma, some sort of gas.
Well, that's fusion. That's what fusion is.
No, but it's not, this is just particle plasma. This is highly excited particles in here. And they're in the shape formed by the magnetic field, in the shape of two donuts, like a donut here and a donut there. They then, like a rail gun, they use the sequencing of, they call it peristaltic acceleration of the magnetic fields. They push these two plasma donuts together, and in the middle they've dropped in some little gas, which is their fuel source. these things pulsing and go massive energy, 10 million degrees.
Can you do that again?
Yeah, just like that.
Can you do it again? Oh, no, that wasn't the same as the last one.
We'll check it on the video later on. So when they hit, they cause fusion of these. They have deuterium in there and a helium isotope. They cause a fusion of them. But this is the real. So that's cool. That's cool
What
technology.
you're describing there is like two fusion reactions making a third fusion reaction.
But these aren't fusion. These are just plasma. They're not fusion. They're not enough energy to be fusing particles. They've just been heated to such a level. They're plasma.
That's my understanding.
No,
as soon as you get plasma, it's like you've got fusion.
No, you can make plasma in the room here. Plasma is just, they're ionized. The particles become ionized and highly energized.
Okay.
But you get these two plasma donuts. They slam them together, and they're doing that under massive magnetic pressure. They're creating a magnetic field around these charged ionized particles. Then they fuse and they release massive amount of energy. But what they do, that energy pushes back against the magnetic pressure that's been wrapped around them.
Yeah.
That change in the magnetic field is that magnetic field, they've got copper coils, that induces electricity immediately. There's none of this
without
waste.
the turbine.
Yeah, there's none of this waste of turning into heat, going into steam, going into mechanic.
Yeah.
It just goes from fusion, energy, into the magnetic field, immediate lossless creation of electricity.
Perfect.
It's so
That's
efficient.
what we want.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
And they're getting...
That's theory?
That's it. That's in practice.
They haven't done that.
They've done that.
They haven't done that. What, on a simulation?
No, for real. They've done it.
In a second or something? Or?
Yeah, they've done it. I think
But
a couple of thousand times. They pulse it. Doosh, they pulse it.
And they get
and then they get this spark. They get this
but
fusion.
But that's the key to fusion energy is they can't get it to keep going.
No, well, I think they can here. I think that, and they're pulsing it faster and faster. I think their challenges now are more around materials. They're more around dealing with this temperature.
There's an isotope or something that's very rare. That they're trying to create.
There is one which is there's a number of. There's beryllium, which they use in the tokamak. There's another one, but deuterium, it's everywhere. It's in water.
Yeah, I know. There's the one that's plentiful, but there's the one that's very rare.
Yes,
and they're trying to create it.
I think these guys create it in their own reactor.
Yeah, they have to create it because you can't get enough of it.
No, I think as part of the reaction that occurs, it creates the fuel source that they want. But
we're not going to live to see that.
They've got it. They're making it. They've got it now. Operating now. They're up to version 8.
I want to see a fusion reactor freaking working.
Yeah, they're building version 8. This is version 6. They're up to 7 and 8.
Who's they?
A group called the Helion.
Whereabouts? What country are they from?
They'll be in the States, I imagine.
Are they? Yeah.
Yeah. Have you got your phone?
It's a race, though, isn't it?
Google Helion reactors. They're really cool. You want to check out the video?
Helion.
I think it's Helion.
See how well Google does me
voice it.
Voice the thingy. Helion reactors. It's got the word right. Yeah, first diffusion. Helion is building the world's first fusion generators.
Yeah.
Enabling a future with unlimited clean electricity.
Sounds
like a sales pitch.
On YouTube, there's a guy. I wish I could think of his name because he does really good videos. It's something engineering.
It's an American fusion research company.
Yeah.
Washington.
What's he called? Someone engineering.
Okay.
His YouTube video is really good.
Yeah.
Symbol? Give me this for a second. I just want to go to. Where's your YouTube? Let's go here. Oh fuck! What did I just do? That's what I want. YouTube engineering Helion reactor. Just see if it finds the one I'm after. Real Engineering. Yeah, the guy from Real Engineering. That top video.
Oh, yeah.
Check out Real Engineering.
Okay.
He does really good stuff on everything.
Okay.
But you want to learn about these reactors, that's a really good video.
Okay.
Potential to change the course of human history.
Click on that. How do I... just leave it in there.
Yeah, you'll just find it. It'll be in your played videos now. Yeah, that's really interesting. That technology.
Yes, well, I've been following Fusion, but I mean, and now that I've looked at it too, of course, Google will go, oh, okay, you're interested in that. He'll keep sending me feeds, which is quite interesting.
The guy from Real Engineering, I don't know his name, but definitely worth a watch. I would like do a shout out to his channel. Yeah, he's I want to say he must be an Irish guy from his accent. Yeah, does good stuff.
Yeah.
So what's the one that you were having there? That's a 7%er, is it? What's it called? Summer 2023 or now?
No, January.
January. Is that what it's called? January.
Oh, it's called Jan.
Oh, Jan.
Remember Jan?
Yeah.
Garage Project. Every month they come out with January, February, March, April, May.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, every month they come out with a fresh IPA.
Ah.
And they say Louis, they just mix it up, with a different type of hop and different things like that.
That's cool.
So I buy it periodically. I think the last one I bought actually was it was over a year ago. It was called Fuck You 2021. Yeah. So that was their celebration of Fuck 2021.
So have you taken photos of these cans to add to your collection of beers that you've drunk?
Yeah.
You have?
I've got a 6-pack of these. I bought a 6-pack of those, so.
And what about the
I'll
Broken
take a photo.
Spectre?
I was taking a photo of that one.
Oh.
Oh, which one? That one there.
Yeah.
Oh, no. So
See, if you take a picture religiously of every one of these beers that you drink, trust me, we'll be able to create you a presence online. And I reckon that within 6 months, you'll be getting free beers.
I'll hold you to that. I can later. We can have a quick look and just we can discuss it further.
We'll get your Twitter account. We'll get you a
Twitter account. I'm not sure about Twitter now. That bloody Elon Musk has taken over.
Oh, it's the best thing ever.
Is it the best thing ever?
Yeah, it's the best thing
let's
ever.
Let's talk about that. What's going on there?
Look, so Elon is just a conservative, ideologically sort of conservative, not left wing, and so he's bought Twitter, and basically, which has been run by the far left wing for the last few years. And so he's gone under the covers and said, a whole heap of these conservative and right-wing people that you didn't like and you just blocked. Well, I'm just letting them have their accounts back so they can talk again. And the left wing...
Okay, so he's totally about...
Free speech.
Free speech.
Yeah, but
I did understand that.
In general, he's about free speech. Far more so than whoever was running it previously. Yeah. So it's been good.
I had a Twitter account.
You can talk
but
now.
Apparently it was breached recently.
Oh. We're creating a new one. Get your Twitter, get you an Instagram, and get your YouTube channel.
Oh, I've always been. I've actually cancelled my Facebook account.
Yeah, Facebook, schmacebook. Who uses it these days?
Today, I had to go down to 31 Cabernet and pick up my delivery of cast iron frying pans.
Is that what you're into these days?
I'm just into buying stuff. I was bored. And I bought some. I don't actually cook much at all.
Like you bought a set of cast iron frying pans.
But I bought a set of 3 on Trade Me.
I have a cast iron.
Cast iron. But I like cast iron. I really appreciate cast iron. But I just saw them there, and the price was right. It was like $50 or something
for 3.
A set of 3. And I thought, okay, it's probably not top of the range cast iron. No enamel coating or anything like that. But I just thought I'd add that to my collection of cast iron. I've already got a couple of cast iron.
I've got a flat cast iron sort of pan, which I use. I use daily. I use it every day for cooking steak.
Great for cooking meat.
Yeah, just perfect. I love it. Every day I've had it. I've given it a clean when it's needed a clean. Every time it's been washed in water, I've put it back on the flame.
Do you put a little bit of oil
and oiled it? I've oiled it. Yeah, it's in great shape.
But I've had a good frying pan before, but I gave it to the flatmates.
Oh yeah.
Indian flatmates. So every time I cook on it, if I cook on it, I mean, I'm not great on cooking, but if I cook on it, it just comes out like turmeric.
Oh yeah, baked into it. Yeah,
it just bakes into it, eh?
Yeah.
You think it's clean, and then you cook up your steak, and it's like, why is my steak going yellow?
I had the funnest little experiment with Locke. He got some turmeric from something we were eating. I think we'd done like turmeric with potato pieces, whatever. Yeah. He got some on a white shirt of his, and so I was like, "Oh, dude, that's never going to work. It's going to stain." I thought it's going to stain really badly. I said, "How about we do this? We'll just ditch the whole shirt in turmeric." So we got some of the food, the juice off the food, and we ditched the whole thing in there. And then I was soaking it, and when you soak it, it's yellow. Yeah. And then I think it was soap. I put a little bit of washing powder. I put a little bit of washing powder in there, and it goes pink. and like the whole shirt went pink. And then you wash that off, it goes back to being its turmeric color again. And then you put more soap in, it goes pink. Yeah, it was amazing. There's some
But you
sort of
couldn't get it
chemical
back to
reaction.
white?
No, got it back to white. It
You
didn't.
did?
It didn't stain it.
No.
The shirt came back to like it's got a dull off-white color to it now.
I get that. I mean, because I'm always cleaning turmeric,
Yeah.
and most things turmeric, with a bit of Jif or something like that, comes out. But I notice my tea towels always get a bit turmeric coloured.
Yeah.
But I run through the wash with a bit of nappy sand or something like that.
And they come out all right.
They come out white.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it does come out. Yeah.
Pretty good product, turmeric. Meant to be
Yeah.
very good for your immune system too, I think.
Yes.
Good product to have in your
good
diet.
For, I did take turmeric
Bleeding
pills or
as well?
something
What?
for not stress.
Headaches,
No, or something. Oh no.
virus,
No. We have back pain and stuff like that.
Oh.
Muscular. What's it called?
Spasms.
No, it's
sciatica,
called...
old age.
Keep going.
I've been through them all now.
Come on. Keep coming. With the list.
Muscle tension,
No, inflammation.
inflammation. Of
yeah.
course, that's what it's
Turmeric's
good
supposed
for.
to be good for
Inflammation.
inflammation.
Everyone
Yeah.
knows that.
Yeah, everyone knows that. You know it now. Okay.
Yeah. What else has been going on? Oh, the Ukraine. I've got to say, if
you said you were going to talk about the
well,
Ukraine.
I need to talk about the Ukraine. If you want to get some really good information about what's happening on the battlefront in Ukraine, check out Alexander Mercouris on the Duran. The Duran on YouTube. Just remember the Duran,
No,
like
you have
Duran.
to send me a link. I can't do it.
You remember Duran? You'll remember it. But check out Alexander
I don't
Mercouris.
remember Duran.
It's so good.
Yeah. What I know, what I don't know, but what my question is, why hasn't he pushed the button? He said he was going to push the button.
Who?
Well, the president of Russia. What's his name?
Said he was going to push the button. What button?
The nuclear button.
No, he didn't.
Didn't he say he was going to do that?
No, he didn't say anything
I was
like
thinking he
that.
wanted to keep talking about it, and I thought he was
No,
going
he's
to...
not.
No?
Putin's not going to push the button.
No, he isn't. Well,
Joe
we all know.
Biden's more likely to push the
Is
button
he?
than
Is he?
Putin is.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
I don't want them to push the button, but I mean, I'm just thinking it'd be quite easy to do, and that'd just be the end, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but they just want the end. Like, I think...
Because everyone knows it's the end, right? You start setting bombs, you start setting nuclear missiles left and right. It's
Yeah.
the end, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not good if that happens.
It's not good.
And that's why neither of them should do it,
Yeah,
really.
yeah.
I don't think any of them
So
will
just
do
all
it.
posturing and all that
Yeah.
sort of stuff.
Saber rattling.
Yeah.
It's a great term, that one.
I've got my finger on the button. I'm going to let it. You say what I want you to say, or I'm going to press it.
No, but I did hear an interesting idea today. So the thing that's just come out a couple of days ago is that Joe Biden's had a whole heap of
Heart surgery, or something?
sensitive documents, top secret documents, stuck in the garage where he keeps his Corvette.
Yes.
It's not meant to be there. It's meant to be like under lock and key in the White House. So
Corvette.
no, the state secrets,
Yeah,
all the
okay,
classified
right, yeah.
documents. So someone was suggesting that because of the way that the Ukraine is going to quickly unravel for the West and get really bad and really expensive, and already is really bad and really expensive, and a lot of Europe is saying, we're not so keen on being involved in this anymore. They're thinking that this might be something they're going to use to try and wrap up and put the blame on Biden. So he'll get the blame and that will get him out of office. So basically they'll get rid of Biden. Look, you did this with the state documents. You're no good. You're losing your marbles. You did no good in Ukraine. You're out. And he will then take away the blame for the Ukraine because the West isn't looking like they're in a great spot at the moment with Ukraine. Putin's in a pretty good position at this stage.
Oh.
Yeah. And the West have sort of said, well, Ukraine, we'll do this, we'll look after you. And Ukraine's just getting slaughtered, getting smashed at the moment, suffering massive losses. They're asking, we need thousands of tanks. If we're going to win this fight, we need thousands of tanks. And the West are saying, well, we don't have thousands of tanks. The US has thousands of
but
tanks.
they're holding back, aren't they? The West is holding back because they don't really want to upset Putin too much.
I think there's a part of that they don't want to escalate with fighter jets and things like that. But right now the question is coming down to the stage of saying, well, Zelensky's saying we need tanks. We need thousands of tanks if we're going to beat the Russians. And the Germans are saying, well, we've only got 1,500 Leopard 2 tanks. We're not giving you all of our tanks. The Americans have got thousands of Abrams tanks. But again, the Abrams tanks it's going to be a tough thing to send thousands of them into Europe and then keep them supplied and going in parts and all that sort of thing. So I think the West have got to try and find a way out of this. And whether or not Biden's going to get the rap for it, I don't know. It was just an interesting story today. But you know, another interesting thing, in Soledar and Bakhmut, which is where the real heavy fighting's going on at the moment, in Soledar is, I think it's the world's biggest salt mine. There's 150 miles of tunnels under this town. And that's why they're saying the Ukrainians, I think, have been fighting so hard for it, because I imagine they've probably got it stashed with heaps of equipment and ammunition and medical field hospitals and all this sort of stuff in these massive big underground salt mines. Yeah.
I don't know what the hell's going on over there.
Then the way to find out is on YouTube, watch the Duran Alexander Mercouris. I'll send you a link.
You have to send me a link,
Oh,
eh?
well.
Because it has to be easy. I just have to be able to click on a link and go, oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, I've got a little bit of cramp.
Turmeric good for that? No.
Yeah, probably. I did take the turmeric pills, but it didn't really, I don't know if it made any difference. But like most natural remedies, it's a slow process. You know, you got to be dedicated. You
Yeah.
got to be serious about it, and you got to just carry it on. It's not like pop a couple of pills and like, oh, okay, that really worked, and then you're over it.
That's the news I saw today, apparently it's been going on for a while, is that there's a type 2 diabetes drug, which in America, people have found out that if you don't have type 2 diabetes, but you take it, it's amazing for weight loss. And so now there's a shortage of it in America for people with diabetes because everyone's just going, oh, give me some of that stuff. They're just buying it up to lose weight.
You say it's like the quick fix.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a common one.
Mm.
Yeah, everyone's looking for a quick fix.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking for a quick fix. Have you got any quick fixes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you just got to, the way that world works, you just got to put the work in most of the time.
Have you seen Avatar?
The second one?
Yeah.
No, I haven't. I've seen the first one.
Are you planning on seeing it?
Nah. I saw the first one and I thought the best thing about the first one was, from memory, it was the first 3D film that had in-screen depth. Like Jaws 3D and that, things came out of the screen.
Yeah.
Everything appeared to come out of the screen.
Yeah.
In Avatar, there's one of the first scenes where in a ship, they're in this little medical bay or something, and it's like things are going down into the screen. I thought that's cool.
Yeah.
But
what my first disappointment, because I saw Avatar 1.
Yeah.
In 3D, and my first disappointment was it didn't have multi-focus. Like I couldn't, the focus of the movie, the director.
you
or
had
whatever,
one focal point.
that were following the characters.
Yeah.
And it was like you'd see it, they'd follow past a tree or something.
It was
like
blurry.
that. It was like, oh, that looks really cool. And then you're watching the tree, and it just goes blurrier and blurrier because you weren't following the characters.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking, damn, I want the tech
Yeah.
that allows for my
Proper
focus.
3D.
Yeah, and they haven't got there yet.
Is that is that VR? Is that the way you get it with VR goggles? Is that?
I don't know how they're going to get it, but I'm just thinking that's where I would like their technologically focused to be.
Yeah.
I have no plan to see Avatar 2. Everyone's raving about the graphics and things like that, but it's graphics alone. I'm just thinking the stories are Disney. It's like it could be a cartoon.
Yeah.
It might as well be a cartoon, the story-wise, and they're just putting all this glamorous state-of-the-art CGI on it.
I don't even think the graphics would be that great compared to what else you can see these days. Like there's so much good graphics coming out now.
Yeah.
We've reached the point where graphics it's hard to tell truth from fiction with graphics. Whereas when the first Avatar came out, I think there was quite a jump. That was cool and it was 3D. This one, I think the jump from what you're used to is going to be much smaller.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean, everyone I've spoken to was just like, oh my God, you've got to see it. It's just freaking great.
It took too long. It should have come out a year after the first one, not 10
like
years.
Yeah, it's just like, really?
Yeah.
But I mean, no, I have no intention of seeing it, but I will see it, like, I'll download it on Pirate Bay or some shit like that.
What's good? Oh, you go.
So it won't be 3D.
Yeah.
But yeah. It's just what is it? It's just a technology, example. They're just showing off what you can do with 3D CGI. 2021.
Is Avatar 2 3D?
2022.
It is 3D, is it?
No. Well, I mean, obviously you can choose. You can go 3D or you can do it normal.
But okay.
But there's a 3D option.
Oh yeah. Well then, look, I would almost be tempted to watch it to see if there's been
Just
an
technical.
advance, if there's been an
Yeah.
advancement in 3D
Oh, there has.
technology.
I'm sure there has.
Yeah.
I mean, I think if that's the only lure I've
Yeah.
got. It's like, ooh, yeah, I would like to see what it's like. 10 years on, it's going to be more advanced.
I guess
But
it
the
is.
storyline is just like
Yeah.
putting me off. It's
No,
just
it'd
like,
be, it'd purely be
I
for
don't
the
wanna watch
3D.
another Disney production,
And would it
It's-
depend upon the
yeah.
theatre you went to? Like, should you actually research it and go, oh, it's no
Well, I
point
went
going to just see it
IMAX.
at Westgate?
I went
Yeah.
to IMAX last time.
Yeah, do you have to see it at IMAX, and does it have to be an IMAX 3D?
But then, interestingly, I saw Avatar, when it came out on streaming or whatever it is, years later, and watched it again. Watched parts of it. I zipped through it, I suppose, and it was like it was a freaking cartoon.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, what was back then when I first saw it, was like, oh, it's so realistic.
Yeah.
I watched it, and it was like everything's cartoon-like. Everything is not realistic at all.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, everyone's going, no, but this is different. 2022, it's like, whoa, this is so lifelike. You can't beat lifelike. I'm just thinking in 10 years' time, you
Yeah.
look back at it and be like, oh, it looks like a cartoon.
Yeah.
I'm sure of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The 3D would be interesting to see just what that's like. If that's improved, that would be
Yeah.
good.
It would have improved.
Do you know what is a good show to watch? A good movie? The Stranger. It's on Netflix at the moment. It's an Australian film, and it's based on a true story.
Is it CGI in it?
No,
Oh, what?
no, there might be some scenes with CGI in it, but I
It's
doubt it.
surprising, actually, how CGI slips in there. Eh?
Well, yeah, there could be, but I don't think so. It's not a
But anyway,
CGI film,
It's not that type of thing. Yeah.
but it's a really good
Can you see the link on
drama.
that? I forget. that too.
That's right. Just
But I
watch the
wanna
video.
watch it. Australian. I mean, can't beat an Australian drama, right?
True. Joel Edgerton is the lead in it. Does a real good job.
Who?
Joel Edgerton,
Who's he? What else has he been?
Aussie actor. Well, I don't know what else he's been in. Been in stuff, but I can't think of what they are. But he's a good actor, great actor in this show.
Hmm.
Another film that's good the other day I saw was Amsterdam. It's got Margot Robbie in it and Christian Bale.
Well, there's a series called Amsterdam.
And
like a medical drama.
oh yes, but Amsterdam Hospital.
Yeah.
No, nothing to do with that.
Amsterdam.
Amsterdam.
Okay.
Yeah, again, good. I don't know who the directors were, but Christian Bale's is sort of the lead role with another guy whose name I hadn't seen him before. Is he someone Johnson? I can't think of his
But then
name.
that's a bit sad. I mean, you get these big name actors, and a good example is that guy. Oh, he played the part.
Leonardo?
No.
Jack Nicholson.
He's not old school. He's kind of a new actor, but I really
The Batman.
appreciated him. He was a good actor.
The Batman.
He does
Robert
good movies. The
Pattinson.
last movie I saw him in was Annihilation. Have you seen Annihilation?
No.
You haven't seen Annihilation on Netflix. I'm sure it's on Netflix. Annihilation. You've got to see that.
What is it?
It's a
Sci-fi.
sci-fi. It's totally sci-fi. It's an alien comes down to Earth. Yeah, Annihilation.
Simulink.
Yeah, I've got to see the link. It's freaking great. But anyway, he was in that. Oh, what's his name? Oscar somebody. But anyway, he suddenly turned up in this latest Marvel.
No.
It's like an Egyptian god or something. He's become like an Egyptian god. It's on Disney.
Ra
Or something
Zeus,
like that,
not
and he's
Zeus.
become like a superhero. They've turned they've turned a Egyptian
Egyptian god into a superhero.
into a superhero, and he plays the main role. And he's like a split personality. Have you ever seen Venom? other
I
guy
know
too.
of Venom, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah, that guy, he was a good actor as well.
Yeah.
What was his name? Again, a really good, solid actor, and then all of a sudden he's been bought out by this
Marvel.
fucking Marvel
Wow, they
bloody
must-
crowd.
But if you're an actor, you just work it as a job. It's like, oh, you're going to give me $35 million to go and be a Marvel film?
You're not going to say
Sure.
no, are you?
Fuck, my
Yeah.
kids will think it's great. Ah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I can't think of that guy's name. But you haven't seen any of the Marvel stuff.
I haven't, no.
No. I'm over it.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't know why I just never really got into it. Even Iron Man, I saw the first Iron Man. I was like, yeah, it's all right. Maybe I was a bit old for it. I don't know.
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I thought it was all okay, and I was like sort of sci-fi and all that
Like-
stuff. It was like quite fun.
Like a sci-fi film these days, there's lots of action, and yeah, it's kind of fun to watch some of it. You know, if the special effects are really good and interesting,
yeah.
but it's a struggle. You've seen so many of those films before. Like I say,
Yes.
the step up has got to be quite a big step up for you to go, wow, that's really cool.
Yeah.
That's why the Stranger is enjoyable. It's a drama, but it's well cut, it's well directed. It's not sort of what you expect. It
It's
comes.
reasonably fast paced. There's no flat spots.
No, there's no flat spots, but it's not really fast paced. It's all gritty,
I like
gritty,
that. I like
gritty.
gritty. I
Grit-
like gritty.
Yeah, gritty.
Okay, I'm holding you on this one.
Yeah, it's good.
I'm going to bloody well watch it, and I'm going to tell you what I think.
Yeah, you got to watch it. You got to watch it right through because it takes a while to kind of figure out what's going on. Interestingly enough, when I first watched it, I stayed up and watched it. Renee had gone to bed, and I watched it, and the next night or next day, I was like, Renee, you got to watch this film, The Stranger. It's so good. You got to watch it. You got to watch it. And she was like, all right, watch it. And so I sat down with her. I watched it again, and this time I saw the scene, the words at the start, which said, "This is based on a true story." Because I was saying to her, it's such a good story, and I was like, "Oh, okay, it's based on a true story. This is perhaps why it is very good." But the second time I watched it, there was a lot more that I appreciated because I then knew what the story was and what was happening to one of these characters, which the first time you watch it, you don't find this out until quite deep into the film. Yeah. But even watching it the second time, you're like, oh, that's really good acting because now I know why you're acting like that. So it's worth watching twice.
You're not that guy that when you're watching it with somebody and they go, oh, hang on, there's a really good part coming up now.
No. I'm pretty quiet in films. I don't like to wreck it for people. Yeah. I don't enjoy it.
Oh, you really like this bit.
I don't enjoy it when they're asking me questions. But what is that? Why is he like that? Oh, fuck's sake, just watch the film and figure it out.
Yeah, when it opens up, you know. Yeah. Why is that like? My mum was like that.
Yeah.
She was like, why do they do that?
Yeah.
He's like, just
wait, it'll become clear. No one knows.
Yeah. But actually, some of the best movies I've watched, I've nearly fallen asleep to.
Really?
That's always been a classic reference point for me. It's just like, I watch a movie and it's like, probably because it's late at night. And it's like, oh, it's never going to end. But when it does end, I'm just going, God damn, that was the best movie I've ever seen. You know? Whereas, where it seems to be the opposite in the mainstream, you know? It's just like, you just got to be fast-paced. It's got to be action-packed. It's got to be a simple story. And people walk out going, oh, wow, that was really great.
Have you watched on Netflix The Pale Blue Eye? It's Christian Bale one. It's out at the moment. Apparently,
I saw it advertised. They were pushing it. They were pumping it.
Apparently, after 2 days, it was the number one film in 59 countries, and by now they reckon it's going to be the number one film around the planet.
And you've seen it?
No, I've started to watch it. I watched probably 30 minutes of it with Renee, and I would say that it's interesting, but I want to watch more of it. And I'm hoping it's not going to be disappointing because right now it's a little bit childish in. Here's the next clue, protagonist. Go over there. Oh, here's the next clue. But I feel like maybe that's just a bit of the setup and it's going to get better. I hope it does. So
okay, so you're going to carry on.
Yeah, I'll carry on.
Okay, you know, I've seen it. It's been presented to me. I mean, Netflix has been promoting it. So, yeah, I'll give that a go.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But it's a little hit. I'm actually watching a lot of Amazon at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
Amazon Prime stuff.
Yeah, Prime.
There's one called The Devil's Hour or something, which is just it's like a cop sort of procedural, I think they call them.
Ah, yes.
Procedural drama.
Drama.
Yeah. But it's kind of got a real kind of a supernatural edge to it, you know. So that's actually quite good. Just put away there.
I've got to think of the guy's name. It's not fair. Can I borrow your phone for a second?
Yeah.
So they get the name right and shout it out.
Just hang on, I'll just get it open.
Or you can do it if you just Google.
There you go.
Here we go. Author of The Clown Service. What's his name?
Guy Adams wrote The Clown Service.
Guy Adams' book called The Clown Service.
Yeah.
Great little book. It's now number 2 on my list of books that I think would be worthy of turning into a good film. It's I'll lend the book to you. But if you ever get a chance to read The Clown Service.
You've lent me the other book. I've still got that book and I've never read a word of it.
Which one? Did I lend you?
Jack Reacher.
Oh, a Reacher book. I'll lend you an Ian Rankin book.
Yeah.
Ian Rankin, man.
But I just don't. I can't do books. I'll be honest with you. I'd love to read books.
What about Audible?
I just can't.
What about Audible?
No.
Do you ever try
Depends
that?
on the accent. I try to listen to it and there's like an American accent and I just kind of I kind of keep focusing on the accent.
Man, that's a killer. Like I go to bed and I have headphones on and I'll be listening to podcasts or whatever it might be. And sometimes you get some great stuff. It's like the history of the universe over 13,000 years. And you think, well, this will just be perfect for going to sleep. It'll just be like, rattling off old facts. And then you get the voice and it's some geezer from somewhere. You're like, oh, I can't listen to this, mate. And you think that's such a shame because there's an hour and a half of content. They've probably done a good job,
Yeah.
but the voice is all wrong.
Yes.
Got to
And
get
that
the
really
right
stuffs
voice.
me.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I know somebody who would fall asleep, and basically they listen to content just to fall asleep.
Yeah, that's what I do. It's so easy to go to sleep.
Yeah.
If
I can't listen to content. If I'm listening to content, I tend to keep awake.
I can feel myself drifting off from it. I can listen to it for about 2 minutes, and then I'll recognize I'm thinking about this and not listening. And then before I know it, I wake up and like my headphones are smashed across my face, and it's 2 hours later, and the thing's still talking on another topic.
I mean, some people can listen to music to go to sleep.
No,
I can't do that.
No.
I listen to music and I'm just like, I want to hear the music. I think
Yeah.
it's bad, and I just don't want to hear it. I'll turn it off. But if I do want to hear it,
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep listening to it.
Yeah.
It's like it's not something to put me to sleep.
No, that's right.
No.
Music wouldn't be the thing for me. But
No.
podcasts, different topics, just. And the problem, like, so some of them, I guess, some of them are slightly annoying, and I don't want to listen to them if they are clearly very visual topics or videos. A lot of videos aren't. Look at a history video, and they've got a map in the background. They're talking about stuff, but they're talking about everything, so you get all the context. But if it's if they go quiet and it's like, look at this map. Oh well, this is fucking annoying because now I want to look at the map and I'm trying to go to sleep, so you need something else.
Yeah, I've actually just subscribed to just for the month free trial. I cancelled again on the YouTube.
Oh yeah, to get rid of the ads.
You get rid of the ads, but I don't really listen to YouTube that much. So, so I've cancelled it because I just don't think I'll use it. But it definitely was better.
Oh yeah. Plus you can keep YouTube playing when you close your phone.
Yeah, that was the main thing. Yeah. So you don't have to have the. So if you want to go to sleep and you want us to do a YouTube thing,
yeah.
At least you don't have to have your screen going.
That's something when I'm rich and famous, I'll pay to have YouTube Premium, so I don't have to. I can turn my phone off and I don't have to listen to ads.
Yeah, but it's not. I mean, it's just too expensive for me at the moment.
Yeah. To
carry on paying for it because I don't use it that much. I need to go to the toilet. Is there any chance of doing that?
Yeah, you just go. I'll stop this and see if we come back with part 2.